Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, we're going to try to figure out what we want to do with this Stihl MS-461. I got some new graphics on it. I've done a few things. Looking at the top of this cylinder, I kind of came to the conclusion that the decomp was leaking, so I put a plug in there. This one actually has an 8-tooth sprocket, so that's why it was acting so rowdy in that pine. I mean, pine being that soft pine that I was cutting with this saw, it just seems glorious, right? I didn't change out that 8-tooth sprocket, but what I want to try to figure out today, and in this video, is this saw good enough for what I need it to do? So I've got some 22-inch hardwood. It's sweet gum, which is kind of hardwood, kind of not. It's all gnarled and twisted, so it is actually kind of difficult for some saws to cut. But what I want to do is put it up against the ported Husqvarna 365, which I've got a big bore kit, so it's going to be the exact same bore and stroke. It's going to be 52 by 36, same as this saw. I want to put them head to head. Let's jump into it. Welcome to Man Time. Alright, so let's get these saws kind of ready for the wood here. This one's got a little bit of a loose chain. I'm going to have to warm them up. Now I've got an exhaust mod on this saw. I put a pipe on here, or a piece of 3/4 tube. But it's down here, like it's restricted coming out of there. So it's got that on there. It's also got the original stock super restricted. I don't know how this thing flows any exhaust gases in its stock form. So at this point, with the decomp plugged and stock cylinder, again, this saw, Acres Net was actually wrong on this saw. This is the only one that I found on Acres that was wrong. The Stihl 461 on Acres Net, it's listed as the, I think, 462, where they say it's released in 2020 or 2019. That's actually the 462 data. So if you click on the 461, it shows the 462 data, is my thinking anyway. I don't know how to contact him to let him know that that's a mistake, but I think that's what's going on. This saw was released in somewhere around 2013, so it's probably about a 10-year-old saw. And like I said, I'm going to put it up against the Husqvarna 365, which is more than it's a 77 cc, same as this one, 76.5. We'll put them side by side and see what happens. Alright, let's get this one barred up, ready to put in the wood. Again, this one is going to have the 7-tooth sprocket versus the 8-tooth. We'll see if it can keep up here. So I don't know if I maybe went a little too hot with this one. It just never seems to be my go-to saw. My go-to saw typically is going to be that Johnsrud 2165. For some reason or not, that saw just turned out amazing. Like, ease of start, runs great, starts every time. It's an amazing saw. This one, definitely more powerful. Maybe a little finicky on the tune. It always seems to lean out when it gets warm, so I'm having to adjust it, you know. And I think that's a big part of my problem. And if that's seeming to be your problem too, I think my problem is I'm adjusting it like kind of as it's warming up, you know. It seems to be rich on the warm-up, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to lean it out a little on the high, a little on the low maybe. Make sure to warm up your saw. Let it sit for a minute, minute and a half, and then start revving it up and seeing where it's at. I think that's the majority of my problem, really. Let's get some gas in here, and then we'll do a ease of startup for both of these two saws. Now, the other thing that I'm really looking for in a good saw is weight, obviously. If you're going to be lugging around a big, heavy saw all day, you know, the trees around here are not that big. So when I'm looking to grab a saw, I'm looking to have that saw in my hand for like hours, cutting, you know, anywhere from here to here, typically. If I've got a bigger tree, then, you know, my thinking may change a little bit, but that's one of the primary concerns I have when I'm grabbing a saw to go out into the woods. But let's try ease of startup. We'll start with this Stihl. They're both cold saws, so we'll do full choke and just see where we're at. I had both of them running earlier in the day, but it's long since passed, and they are room temperature, or 50 degrees. So there goes my decomp. Yeah, she's good in compression. But there you go. First start with the choke. Starts right up. I just saw this bolt's backing out here. They've got some aftermarket. There's like a bushing right for, you know, the chain brake inside of here. They've got some aluminum ones you can get from China, like a 10-pack for $10 or something. I used to make these on the lathe, and matter of fact, taking this one apart, I had one that I made on the lathe in there. It has since fallen and gone to nowhere land, but let's see how this one starts from a cold start, choked. See, the nice thing about this one, decomp, right? Yeah. Starts every time, decomp, you can drop start it. Just a really easy saw to live with. Now, I may have gone a little too far on the, you know, timing duration, but man, it still runs amazing. So for this test, like, all things are on the table, right? I'm looking at weight, I'm looking at feel, I'm looking at anti-vibe, I'm looking at speed of cut, I'm looking at restartability, everything. And I'm definitely looking at these fire ants down here that are going to be really upset at me in just a couple of seconds. So this is going to be kind of a quick one. But what we're going to do is, I'm going to start off with the Stihl, because it's stock. I don't want to go from a ported to a stock, but I will go from stock to ported. So let's check out ease of restart, and then I'm just going to make a cut with each one and see how they do. Alright, so that started on first pull. Again, 8-tooth sprocket. It's with the dogs in, it's not quite, you know, with a 7-tooth it'd probably be right there, and I probably should switch it out, but I'm not going to. It's my channel. Alright, let's see if this can do one start, restart, one pull. So there's the results, ported versus non-ported saw. I mean, essentially same saw, right? Slight differences in the chain brake and the construction and this and that. You know, the way the transfers and everything else. But 52 millimeter bore, 36 millimeter stroke. The ported Husqvarna just tears this one completely apart. Chain might have been a little bit heavy, rakers down a little bit on the Husqvarna, just the way I like it, really. Still, performed admirably. They both started on the first pull. I don't know. You make your you make up your own mind. Down there in the comments, what do you think I should do? Still ported or still stayed the same? Your call. That's going to do it for today on Man Time. Guys, get out there, have you some man time too.